Hey, what's good, people? It's RFG here today, and I'm here to basically decode the natal chart of Bob Marley, um, Chris Brown, and Rihanna. Okay, I tried to get the natal chart of Notorious B.I.G., but he did not have an exact time to his date of birth, so I won't be able to do it for him. So, without further ado, this individual right here, Bob Marley. He was a very, very prolific music figure, okay, back in the 60s and 70s. Okay, he sung very uplifting music, so the indigenous people of his country and all around the world could basically rise up from oppression. Okay, when we look at the natal chart of Bob Marley here, okay, the first thing we want to take note of is, okay, his actual birthday, which was February 6th, 1945 at 2:30 a.m. in Kingston, Jamaica. Okay. February 6th, okay, that's under the sun sign of Aquarius, and being born on the 6th of the month, okay, that's gonna fill him with Venus energy. Okay. So right off the bat, him being an Aquarius born on the 6th of the month, that's Venus energy, okay, in Aquarius. Okay, so the Aquarius zodiac sign is naturally tied to acts of revolution, acts of humanitarianism, okay, acts of rebelliousness. Um, you see, innovative thinking. You see, that's all tied with Aquarius. You see, and him being born on the 6th, that's going to give him a small portion of Libra like traits tied to the planet Venus. So he's going to be a much more laid back, a much more artistic. You see what I'm saying? A much more people person in a way. You see what I'm saying? Much more easier to talk to than the average Aquarius man. You see what I'm saying? Because of him being born on the 6th of the month. Okay, that gives him a small portion of Libra traits, but his sun sign is still Aquarius. Okay, and of course, being born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th of the month, okay, that makes the person naturally tied to things like beauty, the arts, okay, music, okay, because it's naturally ruled by Venus. See, the number six. The number six is naturally ruled by Venus. Okay, so that took hold on Bob Marley's psyche. When we look at his natal chart, Bob Marley has Sagittarius on as his ascendant. So when you first meet Bob Marley in person, okay, you automatically sense that Bob Marley is a people person. You see what I'm saying? One thing that I've noticed from most Sagittarius people is that they're accepting of whoever, like no matter their race, no matter their age, no matter their culture or religion or background, as long as they feel that your energy is upbeat. You see what I'm saying? And positive. You see, they can mingle with you. You see, and this is the energy that people got when they first met Bob Marley in person. Also, people with Sagittarius ascendants, they're very assertive, and they're very outgoing, very optimistic. They're the kind of people who see the glass half full instead of half empty in a way. You see what I'm saying? Very, very positive people. On a negative aspect, some people can take Sagittarius ascendants as being very naive. You see what I'm saying? Being a little bit too optimistic at times. And at times that can come back to bite the person with the Sagittarius ascendant. See? So, yeah, people with Sagittarius ascendants are naturally cheerful, naturally upbeat, um, naturally generous people, very fun loving, outgoing people that are accepting of everyone. See what I'm saying? And right here, we have Bob Marley's second house. The second house deals with material possessions. It deals with our ability to acquire finances in this lifetime. You see? And Bob Marley has Sun, Mercury, and Mars in his second house. You see? So this individual right here was destined to acquire a large amount of material possessions, okay, during his life. Okay? The second house also rules our talents, our hidden talents. Okay? The sun is connected to the fifth house, so the sun rules entertainment. It rules forms of entertainment. How is Bob Marley getting his money? Okay, from a form of entertainment. See, Mercury is the planet of communication. So how was Bob Marley receiving his finances? Last time I checked, music was a form of communication, right or wrong. See what I'm saying? Entertainment, communication, and physical action. Okay, physical raw action from Mars. You see, all in the second house. The second house rules how we get our money, our material possessions. That's how Bob Marley got his material possessions in his lifetime. Okay, so when we look at the next planetary placement, okay, we see that Bob Marley has Venus in his fourth house. Okay, Bob Marley has Venus in Aries in his fourth house, which is very interesting. That shows that the relationship with his mother could have been very rocky at times, but overall, it shows that overall, Bob Marley had deep love for his mother figure in his life. Okay, the fourth house represents our relationship with our mother figures. It rules basically how we feel about our everyday family. You see, it rules the energy around our mother figures. It rules our life from 6 to 12, from ages 6 to 12. And when Bob Marley, okay, by him having Venus here, it shows that, he was a very nurturing individual because his mother, okay, was a very good nurturer to him. See? So right here in Bob Marley's sixth house, this is very interesting. Okay, Bob Marley has Uranus in his sixth house. Uranus is the planet of rebellion. Okay, of rebellion, innovation, revolution, independent thinking. Okay, individualism. That's seen, okay, with Uranus in his sixth house. Usually people with Uranus in their sixth house, they do not do well with 9 to 5 everyday jobs. They don't do well with 9 to 5 everyday jobs. I see it time and time again. They are basically meant and destined, okay, to be entrepreneurs, to be business owners, okay, and to be innovative thinkers. People with Uranus in the sixth house. And if you do your research, I believe Bob Marley was working at some kind of hotel, some kind of like janitorial position. And that's when he was approached by a Jew who offered him his record deal. Okay. So Bob Marley, you see, was working a 9 to 5 job. Okay. But Uranus in his sixth house shows that he was never destined to work a 9 to 5 job. Okay. Right here is very interesting as well. Bob Marley has Saturn and Cancer in his seventh house. Okay, Bob Marley has Saturn in his seventh house. This shows that there was a major restriction placed on Bob Marley when it came to the women in his life. Okay, it shows that the women that Bob Marley wanted to get with or wanted to have a relationship with, it wasn't able to happen on his terms, and it seemed that something was always restricting the relationships that he wanted to have. Okay, with women. Okay, something was restricting that. Something was making a barrier there. Okay, he could have had instances where women, used him for money. He could have had instances where women tried to mentally, verbally, and physically abuse him. Okay, the women that were in relationships with him. Okay, this is all shown by Saturn in his seventh house. Okay. And usually people with Saturn in their seventh house, they attract people who are older than them or younger than them, because Saturn rules age. Saturn rules time and age difference. So it shows that maybe Bob Marley, he was in a relationship with a Capricorn woman, or he was in a relationship with a woman born on the 8th, 17th to 26th of the month, or he was in a relationship with someone who was a lot older than him or a lot younger than him. That's what Saturn in the seventh house shows, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And this is right smack dab in the seventh house. So it definitely, had an effect on his relationship life. Okay? Pluto in Leo in his eighth house. This definitely shows that Bob Marley, okay, he was an individual who was naturally attracted to occult knowledge, government cover-ups, okay, naturally attracted to the subject of life after death, naturally attracted, okay, to anything that was unseen from humanity, naturally attracted, okay, to acts of rebellion, and sexual energy as well. Okay, that's all seen in the eighth house. Okay, so according to Pluto in his eighth house and Saturn in his seventh house, Bob Marley, okay, was a person who basically, had sexual relationships with a lot of women. But it shows that Bob Marley, his real goal and his real desire was to find a female, okay, that loved him for him and that he could have a real relationship with. And with Saturn in his seventh house, I'm not sure if he was able to find that, that relationship partner that he was looking for, one that he feel that he really vibed with. Okay, because Saturn is the big restrictor. Saturn teaches us lessons. You see, maybe in the past life, Bob Marley, he could have had a very devout wife, a very devoted wife to him, a very loving wife. Maybe he mistreated or misused that wife, okay, in his past life. So in Bob Marley's, current life, it shows that that was put against him. You see, Saturn in this life restricted his serious relationship partners. Okay, with Pluto in the eighth house, basically, you know, um, Bob Marley would be the kind of person to get sex from a groupie or a fan, anytime, he wanted. But it shows that that's really not what he really wanted with Saturn in the seventh house. Okay. And so the next planetary placements are Jupiter and Neptune in his 10th house. Okay. Now, let me make this very clear. The 10th house rules our career life. It rules our goals and our aspirations. It rules our public recognition and our public fame. It rules the relationship with our father. Okay. It rules, okay, our bone structure in our face and our bone structure in our body. Okay. Usually people with Jupiter in the 10th house, I notice this time and time again. People with Jupiter in the 10th house, or any like Sun, Venus, or Jupiter in the 10th house, they have very well-defined bones in their facial structure. They have very well-defined bones in their facial structure, because 10th house rules the bones in our facial structure. And Jupiter, okay, rules God's fortune and never-ending expansion. Okay. Um, Even if a person had Sun in the 10th house, or if they had Venus in the 10th house, it shows that, that person would have a very well-defined bone structure in their face. Okay. Also, people with Jupiter, Venus, and Sun in the 10th house, they are destined for some kind of fortune and some kind of fame in this lifetime. And whether that be a resource, whether that be the white man's money, whether that be some kind of talent, okay? People with Jupiter, Sun, and Venus, any of those planets, especially Jupiter. Jupiter in the 10th house, man. I mean, it's just, person after person that I see, you know, they are destined to achieve some kind of material gain in this lifetime. And this is definitely the case for a person like Bob Marley. Here's why. Bob Marley had a grand trine. Bob Marley had a grand trine in his earth houses. Let me explain. No matter what signs are in the second house, sixth house, and 10th house, the second, sixth, and 10th houses are always going to be earth houses. They're always going to be earth houses, which means that they're always going to be naturally ruled by Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Okay? They're always going to be naturally ruled by those signs, no matter what sign is in them. So when we look at Bob Marley's earth houses, okay, there are planets in all of his earth houses, which means that he was destined to achieve fortune and fame in his lifetime. And if you think that's bullshit, just go look up Michael Jackson. Go look up Michael Jackson's natal chart. I did that almost a year ago. Okay, Michael Jackson had planets in his second, sixth, and 10th houses. Grand trine in his earth houses. He was destined to achieve a large form of, material success, financial success, and fame in his lifetime. Okay, and this is the creator science. This natal chart science is the creator science. And they tried to keep this hidden from the masses, and I'm just trying to expose it. Okay, so right here, Bob Marley has Moon in his 12th house, Moon in Scorpio. Okay, it shows that his mother figure, because the moon is naturally ruled by the fourth house. So wherever the moon is located is also going to impact the person's mother. Okay, so with Bob Marley having Moon in his 12th house, it shows that his mother could have held a lot of Piscean like traits, a lot of Pisces kind of traits, where his mother could have been an escapist, like an escapist. His mother could have been addicted to some kind of drugs or alcohol. His mother could have been, addicted to something, as a form of binging. He could have been absent from his life for a certain period of time. It shows he also could have been a very spiritual kind of person, a very naturally intuitive kind of person, all by looking at Moon in his 12th house. It also shows that, um, Bob Marley had a great deal of natural intuition himself. Okay, because Moon in his 12th house represents his pineal gland. And Moon is a water planet in astrology. The 12th house is a water house. So with a water planet and a water house, that would give him natural keen intuition, a natural connection, okay, to spirituality. Okay. Same thing with Pluto in his 8th house. Pluto is a water planet. The 8th house is naturally a water house. Okay. So he was a, very naturally intuitive kind of person, a very spiritual person. Um, and right here, Jupiter and Neptune in his 10th house shows that he was destined to amass his fortune and fame. Neptune represents, the spiritual things, the fifth dimension, your pineal gland, your higher senses, your connection, your higher power. Okay. Because the Neptune is naturally ruled by the 12th house. You see, and his Neptune is in his 10th house. So it shows that he was remembered. The public remembered him, okay, for this Jupiter energy, for this Neptune energy. You see, for the spiritual energy, for this optimistic energy, okay, coming from the Creator. God's fortune and never-ending expansion, That's a result of Jupiter. Wherever Jupiter is placed in the chart, and Jupiter was in his 10th house, which means that he was destined to have a very, very successful career. Okay. And he was very in tuned, okay, with his God source. Whatever God source that, he prayed to or he paid homage to, he was deeply connected to that. And he utilized that in his career life. Okay. Because Bruce Lee also had Neptune in his 10th house. Okay. Very, very deep information. Very, very deep information. Okay. And, you know, this dude, he made many songs that are classics, that help people stay in a revolutionary state of mind. Okay. This was one of them. Okay. Two of them. These are his top 10 revolutionary songs. And this is why I think he was taken out. He was actually taken out by the Zionist Jews who own and run the music business in America. Okay. He also had a song, Chant Down Babylon, you see, because Bob Marley was a very intelligent, intuitive individual. He knew that America was really this, the third Babylon. Okay. He knew that America was the third Babylon. So that's why he made this song, Chant Down Babylon. You see, and the Zionist Jews put his ass to death. You see, because he had the natural gift of gab to acquire a following, okay, of tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions. And before his music could impact too many people, they had to kill him. They had to murder him. See, and I'm just going to be touching on, something really, really interesting that I see, okay, about people with Jupiter in their 10th house. Okay. So we look at Muhammad Ali here. Muhammad Ali also had Jupiter in his 10th house. Okay. Muhammad Ali, there you go. Jupiter in his 10th house. Probably the most famous boxer of all time. Muhammad Ali, Jupiter in his 10th house. Guess what? Okay. When we look at Muhammad Ali's facial structure, he had a very well-defined facial structure because the 10th house rules the facial structure, okay? The bone structure. The first house and the 10th house rule a person's facial bone structure. That's what they rule, okay? So when you see very handsome men, very pretty women, okay, more than likely they have very positively aspected planets in their first house and in their 10th house. Okay. This is not a joke. This is real. Okay, we can even look at Chris Brown. Let's look at Chris Brown. Chris Brown's natal chart. What do we have here? Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Moon, and Sun in the goddamn 10th house. Come on now. Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Moon, and Sun in his 10th house. Okay? Okay? So like I said, my work speaks for itself. The 10th house is ruled by what sign naturally? The 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. Okay? So Capricorn rules the bones. It rules the bones in the body. Okay? Rules the bones in the body. Okay, that includes the bones in the face. So people, when I see like prolific figures, talented musicians, entertainers who blow up and get famous, okay, and who acquire a mass following, it seems that, you see what I'm saying, they're usually, they have very handsome features. The women have very pretty features. And when I look at their natal charts, they either have very positive planets in their first house or their 10th house. And a lot of it with the famous ones is in their 10th house. You see, because the 10th house rules the bone structure. You see, and then we can even look at a female like Rihanna. Okay? Let's look at a female like Rihanna. Okay? Now, I told you it was either the first or the 10th house where you're going to see the Jupiter. Okay? Right here, we have Jupiter in Rihanna's first house. Now, what is the first house? The first house rules the face. The first house rules the face and the brain and the head. Okay? What is Jupiter? Jupiter is God's fortune and expansion. God's fortune and expansion. It's the area of life that God blessed us with, that God granted us. Imagine God saying, okay, in this life, this area of life, you can have that. You can have whatever the hell you want. You know what I'm saying? This is yours. You know what I'm saying? Get whatever you want. Have what you want. That's Jupiter, okay, in our houses. Okay, that's Jupiter, Sun, and Venus in our houses. Okay, so when we look at Jupiter in Rihanna's first house, okay, she was destined to have fortune that came from her face. Okay, that came from her face, her facial makeup. Okay, the way her face was structured. Okay, Jupiter is God's blessing, and that was put in her first house of her face, okay, her brain, and her head. That is all ruled by the planet Jupiter. See, many models, male models and female models that I have come across and that I have seen, even some female models that I have went to high school with, okay, I have done natal charts on them, and I know a female in particular who has the same placement as Rihanna and damn near has the same facial structure as Rihanna. The only difference is that she's a little bit darker. Her skin color is just a little bit darker, okay, than Rihanna's, but the facial structure is damn near the same, okay? And they both have Jupiter in the first house. Okay, so anybody, like I said, anybody who calls natal chart pseudo or think that this spiritual science is fake, you are fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself because if you do your research, you can go look up Nicki Minaj. Go look up Nicki Minaj's natal chart. Nicki Minaj, okay, she's fake. Guess what? She was destined to have the material success and the fame that she has today because she has Jupiter in her 10th house. Okay? Nicki Minaj has Jupiter in her 10th house. Go look it up. Go look it up, people. Oh, like I said, that's not it. Go look up Tom Brady. Go look up Tom Brady. Okay? You could, for a Caucasian man, you can technically say, you see what I'm saying? He has the same well-proportioned facial structure, and he has the fame, the fortune, okay, the public recognition in the 10th house because Tom Brady, I believe, has Jupiter and Sun in his 10th house. I know for a fact that Tom Brady has Jupiter in his 10th house. Go look it up. Go look it up. This is how these people are operating. This is how the Zionist Jews in power are operating, people. It's all off of the energy of our aura, okay? And that is seen by our natal chart. You see, the first house rules the face and the brain. You see, second house rules our neck and our voice box and our metabolism. The third house rules our arms, and it rules our lungs, and it rules the part of our brain for communication. The third house rules the communication part of our brain. Fourth house rules our chests, okay? In women, their breasts. Fourth house rules the stomach, okay? And in women, it rules the stomach and the womb, and it rules the bodily fluids. And in women, it represents the ovaries in women, the fourth house, okay? The fifth house rules the spine and the heart, okay, and the athletic ability. The fifth house also rules the sperm count in a man. The fifth house rules the sperm count in a man. Sixth house rules the intestines, okay? Sixth house rules the intestines. Seventh house rules the kidneys and the buttocks. Eighth house rules the genitals in either a man or a woman. It rules the genitals. The root chakra, the power of the root chakra. Also, wherever Pluto is located, the ninth house rules the hips and the thighs. The hips and the thighs. The 10th house rules the bone structure. Okay, the knees, the bone structure all over the body. The 11th house rules the shins, and the 11th house rules the circulatory system. The 11th house rules the veins, arteries, blood vessels all throughout the body. That's in the 11th house. Okay? The 12th house rules our feet and our pineal gland. The part of our body that the 12th house rules is the feet and the pineal gland. Okay? So, people, I'm giving you very, very, very deep wisdom here. Okay? Very deep wisdom here, how to decode these natal charts. Okay? Just based off of the houses. They all rule a different area of life. They all rule a different part of our body, and they all rule a different age of our life, a different age bracket of our life. Okay, I'm gonna be breaking that down in later lectures in the future. So that's really all I had to say on this topic. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Okay, I also want to let everybody know, for everyone who's been supporting, you see what I'm saying, me and Philip Sebi and what we're doing. I want everybody to know that Philip Sebi does not get his herbs from the LA office, okay? It is very well known that the LA office, Dr. Sebi's LA office has been compromised, okay? And it has been compromised by the Zionist Jews. So their products are not pure and are not holistic. Okay, so I'm here to say that Philip Sebi is getting his products directly from his uncle and his other relatives in Central and South America. And all of Philip Sebi's products are 100% organic, 100% non-GMO, and 100% holistic. Okay, straight from the earth. Okay. So, I just want to get that message across. If you have any inquiries or any questions about any of the herbs or any sicknesses or disease that you or your loved ones have, you can add me on Instagram, RFG_chosen1, the number one, and I will direct you to Philip Sebi's Instagram as well. Okay, so that's really all I had to say about this topic. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Like, subscribe, share this video. It's the Chosen One, man. I'm out.